Okay, everybody, welcome back to my channel. Not gonna lie, I feel like crap. So you're gonna a sans makeup video today. It's the best I can do. Showing up. I I'm trying to do like a inverted Lent thing where I instead of not doing something for 40 days, I am going to do something for 40 days, and that's what I'm doing here. And so I have to come and show up, even though I'm a little bit broken out due to well, lady problems, is one might guess. Anyways, let's get started. I found an article. Okay, I found an article and I thought it was interesting because, as we all know, we are trying to be good fat allies. We realized we were fat phobic and we're still trying to be good fat allies. And so I found this article that is called These Common Phrases Are Actually Fat Shaming. So we need to learn what we've been doing wrong and do better, guys. So let's learn about these common phrases that are actually fat shaming. Okay. Tiny Me is now in the corner. Here we have our article, These Common Phrases Are Actually Fat Shaming, and it's by Jillian Wilson, written December 7th, 2024. So it's recent, and anti-fat bias is prevalent throughout our society, from how we think about food and exercise to the words we say. So guys, let's learn what words we are saying that are indeed fat phobic. Let's go. Oh, look, mouths. Very Rolling Stone. As a general rule, phrases that offend groups of people are off limits in any respectful and caring group of people. Words that bring down folks in certain demographics have evolved into things that are just not okay to say, even as a joke. Cool. But that doesn't seem to apply as much to fat shaming. Many people still use phrases without realizing, or worse, without caring that they're offensive. According to Tigris Osborne, the board chair of the National Association of Advanced Fat Acceptance. We're going to come back to that. Our associations with eating and body types can be traced back to historical ideas about racism and white purity. Okay. In an American sense, especially white Christian purity and what it means to be a good woman has to do with controlling yourself, controlling your appetites, controlling your body, Osborne said. If they think that Christian purity has anything to do with thinness, they need to go to the South. Go into some of those churches. And self-control was a way to differentiate oneself from others, particularly Black and Indigenous people. We don't think often enough about how much all our ideas about why fat is so bad and so gross are related to these really racist and eugenicist ideas about what bodies should be and what behavior about food should be like. In addition to this history, these offensive phrases are deeply rooted in a pervasive diet culture that has plagued society for decades. The idea that thin is ideal and healthy is everywhere, from the TV we view to the social media posts we see. You know what I think is kind of racist is the assumption that thinking because somebody's from a certain ethnic group that they can be a certain weight, and that you attach that weight to that ethnic group. I think that's actually more racist because we all know what the reality is of health. And they're going to say that me saying this is, one of the isms. But we all know the reality of what health is. And you're actively encouraging people with this dialogue to be unhealthy, which is going to lead to shorter lifespans, which is kind of, frankly, underhandedly eugenicist. Below, experts share what these common anti-fat phrases are and how you can be a little more mindful of your language. You've lost weight. You look great. You've lost weight. You look great is an automatic response to a lot that a lot of us give, but it also implies the person didn't look great before, said Christine Byrne. And E followed by the letter D. I learned that from Alex, dietitian and owner of Ruby Oak Nutrition in Raleigh, California, and that they look better just because they're smaller. So that's problematic. Now, I personally don't think you should comment on someone's body unless they like bring it up first. If you know that they're trying to lose weight for health reasons, etc., it's probably fine. But you're unlikely going to find somebody from who's gone from a super morbidly obese to maybe like an average level who's, in my opinion, like demonstrating a restrictive E followed by letter D. Byrne added that first, you shouldn't comment on someone's body size. Second, it's just inappropriate to say someone to someone without any context. Yeah, I think you should probably, see if they bring up their body first. Obviously, you can say, "Yeah, you look great." I always think that's fine. There are all kinds of reasons people lose weight, and a lot of them are bad. Okay, but if a lot of them are bad, does that mean that most of them are bad? Let's be honest about that. The person could have an acute illness. They could have a behavior, could be battling a serious illness that is causing weight loss, or could be suffering from extreme anxiety that impacts their eating habit. Okay, this is true. But just because something's the exception doesn't mean that it's the rule. I think most people are very sensitive to this, and it's not as prevalent as I say it is. Beyond this, many people who do lose weight eventually gain it back. You're just kind of setting someone up to feel bad when it happens, which is likely said. So they always have this like demoralizing thing in here about, oh, they could gain it back, so you're making them feel bad. Or you could help reinforce, in my personal opinion, about what's your healthy habits and how are you sustaining yourself. I think that'd be a lot better. You're not fat, you're beautiful. This one is funny. According to Ivy Felicia, a body image expert, certified wellness coach, and founder of Fat Women of Color in Washington, D.C., an all-time popular phrase is telling someone that they're beautiful to console them if they if they say they're fat. But it ends up being a backhanded compliment, even when it's not meant that way. It's basically separating fat from value, Felicia said. Fat and beautiful can coexist at the same time in the same body, and it's the same being. This reaction implies that it is impossible. I definitely think somebody can be beautiful and fat. So I mean, I'm not. I think this is this is a backhanded compliment. To be fair, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That being said, I think if you tweaked it a little bit, oh, don't worry, you're beautiful would be like just fine, right? I mean, you're not fat, you're beautiful. It is kind of silly. I feel like this is something that would be said to be. Another version of this is when a fat person refers to themselves as fat, and the response from a friend is, "Oh, you're not fat." Well, clearly I'm fat. So what you are telling me is, don't say that horrible thing about yourself. And what I'm telling you is, it's not a horrible thing about myself. It's just one of the many things that I am. This is a way that people nice their way into an unintended insult. Here's the thing though, because as somebody who understands at the very least like body image issues and sometimes we don't perceive ourselves accurately, there was a time in my life where I literally was not fat as a teenager, but I thought I was because I had been told by specific people how fat I was within my family. And I had friends who told me, "You're not fat. What are you talking about? You're not fat." And then it wasn't until I actually was very, very fat that I looked back at pictures of myself when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I saw myself and I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. I really wasn't fat. But I had the internalized that idea so much about myself that I wish more people at that time actually had gone out of their way to tell me that I wasn't fat, because maybe then I would have believed them and I wouldn't have allowed myself to spiral out of control. And yes, I had a lot of extenuating circumstances like hormonal disorders and a genetic disease that was undiagnosed that really contributed towards me being fat. But what it did was make me think that a certain level of thinness was unattainable, versus if I just accepted myself as I was, I wouldn't have gotten so depressed. And I just wish I had realized at the time that I wasn't fat. I know when I get to that same weight again, I'm going to have a completely different view of myself. I'll let you know when that is. I'm having a cheat day. Diet culture is everywhere. It's hard to go on social media and not find an influencer touting a new green juice or diet pill. And it's hard to go to the grocery store without being bombarded by healthier, low calorie, low carb food options. One term that comes straight from diet culture is cheat day, according to Osborne. A cheat day is the idea that there's a universal way to eat and you can have a special day to be bad. Osborne said it's applying moralistic language to eating. Moreover, a cheat day implies that you can only have one day like this. Otherwise, you'll get fat. Osborne said it's a really troubling phrase. She said, I also don't like the word cheat day for a completely different reason. I just think that, some days you eat one way and some days you eat another way. And if you are overall, eating in a healthy manner, it's not a big deal. Everybody has Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, birthdays, etc. I don't think you should refer to those days as cheat days. I just be like, these are my days of, I guess, indulgence, but I don't think they would like that either. I'm going to be bad and have this cookie. That's cringe. In our modern world, we're not thinking about how all of the ways that we think about food and weight comes from this really gross history of intentionally trying to position one community against another. Okay, what does cookies have to do with positioning communities against each other? Let's see. Going back to the racist ideology behind anti-fat attitudes, Osmond said that this phrase means I'm not going to be like those people by eating a cookie, slice of pizza, cupcake, or whatever the unhealthy food item is. It's not bad to consume what you want, and you should stop yourself from thinking that way. Food doesn't have a moral value. Whoa. She literally just tried to tie eating cookies to racism. Wow. I don't even know what to say. And that just really came out of nowhere. Are you saying that one group of people was more likely to eat cookies? Is that what you're saying? Is there like a cookie culture that I don't know about that's that's controlled by one race. This is insane. This is not only completely inaccurate, this is really dumb. I'm just gonna say, like, that is crazy. I mean, I think that phrase is cringe. I don't think having a cookie is bad. I think having maybe 12 cookies is bad, but like whatever. You make a chocolate chip cookie from home, it's probably 200 calories if you're making them like this big. And that's not a big deal to have one cookie. It's not a big deal, but never in my life. Like, for example, a chocolate chip cookie, I would never ever think to tie that to racism. Insane. At least you'll be skinny after being sick. Have you ever had a stomach bug or another illness and heard someone say, at least you'll feel skinny tomorrow? No, I haven't, because that's insane. I think this is a case of those toxic ritualistic behaviors that Alex is always talking about. And those people who have them reinforcing each other. And so they're used to hearing that because those are the friends they make. But in the real world, people don't say stuff like that. Oh my gosh. You probably have. Or you may even think this to yourself when you are battling the flu or a cold. No, if I'm literally battling a stomach bug, I am crawling on the floor, unable to move because I am in so much pain. I am not thinking about how much weight I'm going to lose because it's all water weight anyways. Tegan Lutchler, I guess I pronounce it, a member at large of the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, said this is a phrase she's heard after someone has the flu or even COVID. It's a problematic phrase for multiple reasons, Lutchler noticed, but ultimately those are illnesses that can have a really severe effect on your well-being long term. I'm not reading this correctly. Oh well. This is a thought pattern ingrained in our culture, and feeling skinny after a mild sickness is almost considered the upside of getting sick, which is hugely problematic. No one should have to suffer in any capacity to achieve a made-up societal standard of beauty. What do you mean, like, should have to suffer? Did you intentionally get the stomach flu? Did you intentionally catch something to make you, like, I don't know, run to the restroom 15 billion times? Because you're making it sound like people are throwing up and you're going to run up and kissing them and be like, give me your stomach flu so I can lose weight. That is just not a thing. Wow. You can really tell like who these people are friends with that they're hearing this stuff. It's like, you have to realize this is not reality. This is your own little subgroup of people reinforcing a really toxic ideology. And that ideology is toxic ritualistic behaviors, apparently. I feel fat. How often have you heard someone say that they feel fat? I say this all the time because there are some days, like these days that I'm in with the lady troubles, where I do feel fat because I'm bloated, probably pretty frequently, and this is not okay. Well, sometimes women get periods, man, okay? And we don't feel good. Just saying. Body size is not a feeling, it is a physicality, Osborne said. So when you say feel fat, which is an all too common phrase, she added that you're actually using a fat as a synonym for a negative feeling you're having. How dare you? Oppositely, Osborne explained that when you say you feel thin, you're using thin to say that you're feeling good or better than other people. I like how she threw this last tag in here, feeling better than other people, because one thing that I learned from my talk with Alex, go watch that video, is not everybody is comparing themselves to others. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm not like, if I'm saying, oh, I feel good today, I'm not thinking, oh, but I look so much better than everybody else. Because that's a weird thing to think. That is not a normal thing to think. And if you think that way, you should really examine, like, what's up with you. Because I don't think the average person thinks this way. And Alex wouldn't say so either, in my personal opinion. Yikes. I like how they're just tagging that on. It's never just about you. It's about, you're just thinking about other people. It's like, no, you think about other people this way. And that's why you are projecting that onto everybody else. Okay, what should you do if you hear someone say something fat shaming? These phrases are pervasive in our culture, so it's reasonable to think you will hear someone utter one soon. It's important to recognize that not everyone feels safe pushing back against this stuff. There's such a stigma against fatness in our culture, Burns said. Additionally, it's not safe for everyone to push back, she added, and it's important to protect your mentality and physicality in these situations. You are under no obligation to say anything if a fat shaming comment has been directed at you and you don't feel safe in the situation, Byrne explained. I think if you're a thin person listening to a comment that is fat shaming, you are probably in a more safe position to say something about it. It's this whole thing about thin privilege again. right? That's crazy. Burr suggested that the following comments and noted that I feel or I don't comments can be a more comfortable approach. Hey, that's an anti-fat comment. That's not cool. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, big deal, I'm fat. When I'm not fat, I'll be like, big deal, I was fat. I just don't like to talk negatively about my body or other people's bodies. That's whatever. I mean, it's a little like, okay, kill the vibe, but not that bad. I noticed that I feel a lot better when I don't criticize my body or people's bodies. This is like a okay, bye then kind of comment. I've noticed that I feel a lot better when I don't worry about when I eat so much. If you're just saying this out of the blue, whatever, it's fine. It's actually better out of the blue. If you're saying it's a response to somebody talking about food, just be like, shut up. You don't have to say anything. I don't talk about bodies that way. Good for you. And here's the thing is I'm not going to be really talking about somebody else's body in conversation. I'll probably just talk about my own body. And if she says that, I'll be like, whatever. That's how I talk about myself. If you don't like that, bye. I don't think that shaming people like this, because these are actively shaming. They're like, here's some counter shaming phrases that you can say. And they're assuming that these are shaming. The ones that we just read, I feel fat. If that's a fat shaming comment, then these are anti-fat shaming comments. I just don't feel like doing this is actually going to get anyone to your side. It's not 2013 anymore. Sorry. It's 2025. People are over it. You can also choose just to leave the conversation or change the subject, no matter how abrupt the subject change is, Burns said. Letchler added that it's okay to revisit fat-shaming comments after the fact if you don't know what to say at the moment, too. Additionally, Letchler said if you're going into a situation where someone may be weight-shamed, like at holiday dinners, they're always saying holiday dinners. Like, I'm sorry, it's been a while. Like, since I've had any of this at holiday dinners, and I'm sorry if you're still dealing with it. That's just how families are. You can talk to your friend or family member ahead of time and ask them what they'd like you to do if the situation arises. Okay. Finally, if you think or say these things to yourself, try to stop. These phrases are harmful yet embedded in our culture. Some are even mistaken for polite responses. All this makes it hard to remove these words from your vocabulary and your way of thinking, but it's important to try and do so. The central question is when people are using these phrases that they are really body shaming or food shaming, what do you really mean? Osborne said. You don't really mean that. Or if you do, maybe you want to examine examine that means and how, what? Maybe you want to examine that how that means and how you relate to other humans in your community. Why are so many articles today full of typos? I swear, I'm not actually that bad of a reader, but I swear when they just like leave out random words, it makes you look like one. Okay. Hopefully this video was not glitchy like my last few. As you can see, we are now going through the process of getting our degree in being good fat allies. You look at my face, I'm slowly dying from this experience. But hey, we're gonna keep trying to do our best. We're gonna push through, and we're gonna eventually have to train our brains to accept fat. That's what fat acceptance is. Body positivity. Let's go. Okay, well, guys, I'm gonna film one more video so I can get that out of the way. I'm getting a facial tomorrow, and I don't want to film with my face all facialed up. So, anyways, y'all have a great day. Talk to you later. Get ready for another video the next day. This exact same outfit, no makeup. Let's go. Bye.